My body was fragmented by the opinions of others.
My body was happy but lost.
My body was standing alone.
My body was a seed, alone, on this beautiful earth.
My body was following in the footsteps of my family.
My body was betrayed by people I trusted.
My body was broken and discarded.
My brain is a pizza. I'm not sure if it's a pan pizza or if it's stuffed crust or that really hit or miss hand tossed pizza. I do know that it's not that flat, hot mess that we call New York style pizza. I'm pretty eclectic, so each slice has different toppings. Over here, we've got anchovies. I don't really mess with anchovies like that, but I'm pretty sure there's a slice in there somewhere. And here we've got meatballs and we've got sausage. I think those are the same thing, but I'm not really sure. We're trying to figure that out. There's also not a single slice of mushrooms on my pizza. Mushrooms are absolutely disgusting. I grew up around a mushroom farm, and let me tell you, no, that is for the birds. Like, there's all these memes about what goes on pizza, what does not go on pizza, but you'll put mushrooms on anything. That's disgusting. It's literally fungus grown in fecal matter. I cannot live that life. There's a good old slice of classic pepperoni pizza, and yes, there are pineapples on my pizza. I like what I like. In my life, people have tried to impress their morals and their values on me, but I reject the idea that I need to take all of your ingredients. I think that everyone has something of value they can offer that I can learn from, but I never want to be so fickle that I lose what I like about myself in the process. I really like pineapples on my pizza. My mom, not so much. People are complicated. See, my mom, she came to me with her persistence and her anxiety. In my father's absence, I learned a whole lot about commitment. Yes, arrogance and intelligence can live in the same place. I had a mentor who was both wise and rigid. My aunt, she showed me that you can have self-worth and also be alone. I have a friend whose giving is more about their thirst for attention. And the first person who broke my heart also taught me to be resolute in my independence. I really like pineapples on my pizza. Don't judge me. See, what you need to stop doing is you need to stop going to Domino's and getting that 5-minute, $5 hot and ready, and then wondering why your pizza tastes like crap. They made it 5 hours ago. Every other pizza chain advertises their freshness. Not Domino's, they just tell you it's ready. You did that to yourself. I don't have to take on everything that comes my way. So, for my mother, I will take her persistence, but not the anxiety. My father, I will allow his absence to teach me what it means to make a commitment and to keep it. I'm not gonna lie, I did pick up a little arrogance with the anxiety, with the intelligence, but thanks to my mentor, it was later tempered with wisdom And from my friend, it was tempered with gratitude. Thanks to my aunt, I found out that Self-Worth Boulevard is a lonely place. But I learned to be resolute in the fact that I will decide who I am.
Have you ever met somebody with the heart the size of Texas? No? Well, now you have. I am one of the most giving people I know. If you need the shirt off my back, you can have it, even though I might need it more than you. There comes a time in your life where you need to stop and pause and look back and start doing things for yourself. I knew I was a wife, a mother, a mom, a daughter, and a friend. But besides that, who was I? My kids were getting ready to go off to school, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I decided it was time to do me. So back to school I went. After 17 years of not being in school, the day I stepped foot on that campus, I knew I made the right choice. And I knew I made the right choice for me and my family. I have excelled at school, which I had never done in the past. And I actually enjoyed it. And while I was here, I realized what myself and my Texas-sized heart has a passion for, and that would be nursing. I can care for my patients, I could love my patients, and most of all, I could make friends with my patients. So in the end, you always got to look back and realize what you need to do for you while you're also giving to others. I am now doing me.
I saw her headband. It was middle school orientation, and I was in the 7th grade. She was playing foosball with some of the other kids, and I was new to the school, so I didn't really know anyone. I didn't really have any friends there. I didn't really have any close friends at all. I saw her, and something inside me said, I want to be friends with her. It was like the universe shined a light on her face and said, this person is going to be important to you. I didn't know how yet, but in a few years, that would change. In the 7th grade, we took a trip with all of our class to Victoria, Canada. And our class was only about 30 kids, so, it was kind of hard not to be friends with everyone. So I knew this person, but I didn't really know her. And in this 7th grade Victoria trip, I was placed in a room number 212, which happens to be my favorite number. Maybe it was a sign. But Lauren was placed in the room next to me. And at night, we would knock on the walls and listen and knock back. And the next year, in the 8th grade, we went to Arizona. And on this trip, it was so wonderful, but, putting a bunch of middle school kids in one place on a trip is a lot of drama. So I remember one night we went to this observatory, and she and I were singing this song called Crickets to the actual crickets in the background of the night, right before Alec accidentally broke her iPod. And she was so upset, and I tried to be there for her, and we weren't best friends yet, but I was trying to be there for her. And later that week, I was the one crying in the back of the shuttle bus because my douchey middle school boyfriend had done Who Cares Now. But she wasn't my best friend yet, but she was still there for me. And in this same week, we invented our first inside joke when we went to the Hopi Indian Reservation, where we discovered this snack. It's kind of like rice paper, but it's made from corn, and so we decided to call it corn paper. Years later, we would discover that it's actually called Peaky bread. And whenever we would hang out with our friends together, we were always just pushed together. It was like the world was pushing our souls together and saying, are you not seeing this possibility of friendship that's right in front of you? And I remember growing up, my sister always had a friend that she was really close to, and I envied her because I wanted someone to be close to. I wanted someone who I could tell everything to, who I could be myself around. And then I found this person, and the moment that everything changed was the summer after the 8th grade, when she invited me to a sleepover at her house for her birthday, which I thought was strange because she only invited 2 other people, and I didn't think we were that close, but I went anyways, and I was the only one who showed up. And we had way more fun than we would have if they had showed up, because we were able to be our weird, authentic selves, and we discovered that we had this vibe and this connection that we had not had with anyone else before. And my sister, who had this close friend, I finally had someone like that, and I was so proud because my sister and her friend, they even had a name for their best friendship that was more than best friendship, and that word was blow, and I wanted a blow. And so a blow is someone that you can be yourself around, someone who brings out the best part of you. Friendships are so undervalued in society because we're always talking about romantic love, but the thing is boyfriends and girlfriends come and go, but your true friends are going to be there with you through all of the ups and downs. And now, I have a blow.
My eyes dart to escape the gaze of theirs.
Hey, tree trunk legs!
My pace quickens. I find myself free, but alone, away from people, away from judgment. I grew up in a military family. I moved just about every 2 years of my life. One thing that I learned is there is a lot of loneliness, and loneliness, it resonates pain. I have tree trunk legs. That's what they chose to set me apart from them as, which throughout my entire life, I was 6th grade, I did a whole bunch of sports throughout my life, but in 6th grade, I joined the middle school wrestling team. I was the largest one on the entire team. 7th and 8th graders, nope, I was our heavyweight. So I had a lot of time alone just because that's how I lived for years and years. But when you're alone, it gives you time to think. And what I thought back to was before these tree trunk legs, which, by the way, I got that name in high school. I thought all the way back to my first day of middle school, my first class. It was English. We had to write these short stories. And the gal behind me, she starts writing hers, and she decides to incorporate other people in these stories. She had a friend. She put him in there as Chris the Creep. She put me in there as Tree. I was thinking, okay, maybe she noticed something that later on people in high school, they took to use against me. I have no idea. I thought it was gonna be this big, huge, there's a reason I'm this tree, right? So I asked her, and she's like, well, I can't see the board because you sit in front of me and you were wearing a green shirt that day. So I got Tree because she could not see and I was wearing a green shirt. I think of myself as this tree in the world. I might have come from a seed to a sapling to be this tree, but that is who I am. This tree, it grows with the carbon dioxide exhaled from every conversation. I am this tree, ever growing in this beautiful world.
Music has always been a natural thing for me. Not natural in the sense that you might think of something that comes easily to you, though it does, but in the sense that it just seems like the natural path for me to go down. I started playing the tenor saxophone when I was in the 5th grade, so it's been 8 years now. And when I reached the 5th grade, the question was never, should I join band? Do I want to join band? It was, what instrument am I going to play? Now, this wasn't because I knew that I wanted to be in band. It was more that I have 2 older sisters, and they were both in band, and my mom was in band, and it just seemed like the natural thing to do, to follow in my sister's footsteps. When it got to the time when I was going to decide what instrument to play, I wanted to be a percussionist. My family and the people around me had their own opinions on what I should do. My mom, she did not want me to be a percussionist. I think it was mostly because she figured that having a percussionist in the family would be a lot more loud and obnoxious than a wind instrument. My sister thought it was a great idea. Jessica, it was mostly because she figured if there was a drum set in the house, she would get to mess around with it. It was either that or she wanted me to play the trumpet because that's what she played. See, she had this idea that if we had 2, we could leave one at school and one at home, and she wouldn't have to carry hers back and forth and back and forth. And honestly, it's a trumpet. Try carrying a tenor saxophone up and down 3 flights of stairs every day. That gets heavy. My oldest sister, Rochelle, wanted me to play the flute. The previous year had been her last year in band, and I guess she just wanted the sense that it would continue and not end with her. My mom had played the flute too, so. My dad wanted me to play the saxophone. See, he had wanted to play it, but never got the chance to. Well, about a year ago, he bought an alto, and there was about a few weeks in there, a lot of really loud and, sorry Dad, obnoxious music when everyone was trying to sleep. But that's beside the point. Needless to say, I decided to play the tenor saxophone. It made my parents happy, and I was happy too. For a while. I mean, learning to play an instrument's fun, right? But eventually, I didn't enjoy it as much. I mean, how many times can you really play Louie Louie before it gets annoying? About once. And we played the same pep band music every year, and maybe about 8 new songs a year. It was just the same thing over and over again. When my sisters reached the 9th grade, they decided to quit band. That would have been the natural thing for me to do. But I decided not to. Because the high school goes on a trip to Disneyland, and who doesn't want to go to Disneyland, right? Except that was in my senior year this year, and I just spent the majority of the time with my family anyway. I could have gone to Disneyland any other time with my family outside of the restrictions of a school trip. I mean, I only have really one friend in the entire band program anyway. But I stayed in band. And why did I do this? I mean, I don't like the class. I still don't like the class. We play the same scales, the same pep band music. We have the same tests every year. And don't even get me started on pep band. It's cold, it's lonely. I mean, my one friend who is in band is a percussionist, and they have their own class. Like, I never see her in band. So it's cold, it's lonely, it's boring, and really, no offense, but I could really care less about football. So, but I stayed in band. And honestly, I don't even buy my Disneyland excuse anymore. So why did I do it? Maybe I need to look past the band class. Maybe I need to look at my instrument itself, the music itself, because now I've realized that it's beautiful. Look at what I can do with this. Look at what I can make, what I can express. In my hands, I hold the power to create something beautiful. Maybe my saxophone won't be just another instrument sitting on a shelf and gathering dust in my childhood home. Maybe I don't have to follow in my sister's footsteps. Because, yeah, it is natural, but not in the way that I thought it was. It's natural because my instrument is a part of me.
My body is a compilation of my life experiences.
My body is here if you need it.
My body is full of the energy others have given me.
My body is an ever-growing tree.
My body is strong enough to carry these burdens.
My body is haunted by his touch. When I was 12, everything changed. 7th grade year was pretty typical, full of boys, hormones, and of course drama. I was going through puberty a million different ways. I got a period first, started growing hair in places I'd never had it, and it sucked. I think we can all agree that puberty just sucks. But my attitude about puberty changed when I got boobs. My breasts were like beautiful flowers blossoming on my chest. My flowers made me feel beautiful. My flowers made me feel strong and feminine. My flowers made me feel confident. With this newfound confidence, I had gone to school and started talking to a boy that I had a crush on since elementary school. His name was Mikhail. Mikhail and I texted every day, started talking on the phone every night. He would walk me to class, and eventually he started to hold my hand. It felt so good to have someone who was proud to walk next to me in those dreaded hallways. He was my only friend. But one day, everything changed with Mikhail. I left class to go meet him, as I did every day. He was walking towards me with his friends. As he approached me, I heard him turn to his friend and say, "Hey, watch this." I thought this was it. This was the moment he was going to ask me to be his girlfriend. As he got closer, he reached out. I thought he was going to grab my hand. But he groped me and kept walking. That's the moment that changed me. As he walked past me, laughing with his friends, I was shattered. He stomped on my flowers. He crushed my flowers. My beautiful flowers. And not only that, he broke my heart and he stole my confidence. I felt ashamed and humiliated. These feelings took me back to a time when I was 4 years old. I had gone over to my aunt and uncle's house, as I did many weekends, to play with my cousins. One of my cousins was 4. His name was Andrew. Our 2 older cousins were about 10 years older than us. This weekend was different, though. It was different because Jason, one of our older cousins, actually wanted to play with us. We were so excited. We looked up to him so much. So we followed him into this car, and we played the secret game. We didn't understand what it was, but we did it anyway. When I was 12 years old, I realized that I was molested in that car. Jason and Mikhail taught me something. They taught me that no matter how much you trust someone and they are supposed to protect you, they will hurt you. They taught me that my body should not be celebrated and it is not a beautiful thing. I should be ashamed. They stole my confidence and my innocence. But you know what I've taught myself after all these years? That just because someone tries to take something from you does not mean you just have to hand it over. My flowers will not be stomped on because my body is beautiful. My confidence will not be stolen because I am amazing. And my heart will not be broken because I am strong.
Hey, I love you, and
You're crippled. Can you even have sex?
well, yeah, but that's not what I. Hey, I love you, and
Sorry, I'm not into that guy.
Hey, man, I love you, and
What? Man, is he some kind of faggot?
Hey, I love you, and
Ew, pervert.
Hey, You know, Why doesn't anybody understand? Red lights. Color red can mean so many things. It can mean anger, you just saw me in a bout of anger. It can mean rage, frustration, pain. I could sit here and talk about any of those things. I could sit here and talk about my injuries. And it's probably what most of you expected when I came out here. Not today. I could have even talked about the times that I've died. That's not what this is about. This whole thing this week has been about introducing ourselves to us. And I wanted you to meet me, the real me, not the stuff that's happened to me. Well, these red lights signify, in the core of who I am, the word that I chose is love. Of course it's love. What else would it have been with a thing like that? I truly love each and every one of you in this room. Every single one of you. And I love everybody outside those doors. I love everyone down there in Texas. I love everyone down there in Arizona, even though the politics are weird. I truly love all of you, and I actually wanted to introduce you to this freak of nature who loves you all so fiercely that it probably makes you a little bit uncomfortable, and it's foreign to most of you. At the core of who I am, I want to take your pain and give you some of my happiness. Let me say that again. At the center of who I am, I want to pursue giving you my happiness, but I want to take all that pain that you have, even if just for that 1 second, that one moment, she doesn't have to feel all that pain and she can feel a little bit more happy. Right? You, I want to take your pain. I want to take your anger. I want to take your frustrations, your anxiety about work, your anxiety about school. I want to take the confusion about whether or not you'll be able to recover from some sort of an injury. And I want to take that finality when the doctor looked at you and said it was terminal cancer. I want it. I can take it. And we'll walk through it together. And we'll be better for it. I promise you. And only by finally opening yourself to letting somebody in, to letting someone actually love you in that way. And we're not talking romance. We're not talking sexual. I mean, there's nothing wrong with those things. All these people thought that that's what I was talking about. And that's not it at all. To me, this is something much bigger. I have a heart for people. And there's no purer love than the love that wants to care for the heart of another person. Any other person. Any single one of you in here. And that's what I really want. This whole week's been about us finding our body maps and the things that scare us about ourselves, the things that scare us about our pasts, the things that we're confident in, the things that make us stronger, the things that make us weaker, the things that mean we need other people. What would your body map look like? If you were to make one right now, what do you think it would look like? What do you think you would find? I encourage you all to go out and actually think about this a little bit. Think about the things that kind of scare you about yourself, or that you really, really like about yourself, like that thing that just makes you want to jump for joy and sing, right? Because only by finding these things about ourselves can you then introduce yourself and to the rest of the world. And once you open yourself up to that kind of love and happiness, you can then truly bring some beauty out of the pain that you're experiencing. And when you find out that your body map looks as terrible as mine did, it'll honestly set a lot of things free. It'll help you write the song that your body has been needing to sing for a long time. It'll help you understand yourself a whole lot better. And then you can understand everybody else better too. We can get there together. I know we can. I will never let you fall. I'll stand up with you forever. I'll be there for you through it all. Even if saving you sends me to heaven, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Seasons are changing and waves are crashing and stars are shining all for us. Days grow shorter and nights grow colder. I can show you I'll be the one. I will never let you fall. I'll stand up with you forever. I'll be there for you through it all. Even if saving you sends me to heaven. So, if you take nothing else from my part of this little spiel, I want you to take away this. Love and happiness are both choices that we make, not the emotions that they carry. So choose to open yourself up to that kind of love and that kind of happiness, and help us to teach you some of our happiness. My body will be here for you forever.
My body will be the pizza of my choice.
My body will be a loving, caring nurse.
My body will hold unconditional love for my friends.
My body will never be alone.
My body will express the music within it.
My body will be forgiving and resilient.